So what is the return on investment of automation and how do you measure it?
For me, I keep that really, really simple. Time saved times cost per hour gives me a baseline ROI. And I just try and keep it really as simple as that. I think the interesting thing when you start looking at kind of cost per hour, and I've just done this exercise for us internally, is not just taking kind of the salary and NI and pension contributions, but actually looking at a true overhead cost. What it costs to put somebody in that seat. So by the time you start including a proportion of, heating, lighting, the cost of running the building, all the software licensing that they need, and all the other expenses that sit there, actually gives you a true baseline cost, not just kind of salary and NI and kind of pension contribution. So that gives you that actual figure of what it costs you to have that person sat in that seat. Then it kind of goes into then the secondary benefits that sit there as well. So we're looking for fewer errors, actually that improved quality of what's being done, faster turnaround times, better customer experience, reduced risk, especially around kind of compliance, where sometimes things forget to be done. Hopefully in automation AI, that doesn't happen. So we become more compliant in terms of what we do. And then probably the most important one for me, in terms of the longer term bit, is the ability to scale that business without having to hire more people. So, taking an automation AI isn't about getting rid of people. It's about using that resource to give a better customer experience, whether that be redeploying those people within the business or giving them more time to actually give the flair, the actual human aspect, because that's what we still want. We're still human beings. We still want to engage with human beings. So let's give them more time to do that, to have that more deeper interaction with their customers, so that they can deliver a better customer experience, ultimately off the back of that. And that becomes then invaluable, because now you've got, a much deeper relationship with the client. You haven't got your staff tied up with doing the basic, mundane, process-driven stuff. You're getting them using their skills that deliver the most value to your business. And that for me is kind of the biggest thing. So how to measure it properly, before automation, time taken, frequency, error rate of things that happens, but after automation, kind of time saved, throughput increase, reduction in manual touch points, and ultimately, I've summarized it, that will be a better customer experience for your clients.
Absolutely. I think the to break the ROI down a little bit, the word I like to focus on with there is the return. What are we actually getting back from this? Putting aside the money, it's a very important part of the business, but from my perspective as sort of the automation engineer, I like to not think about money. I like to think about what are you actually getting from this. A scenario that I've come across recently was somebody who was in a sales position and they were spending a lot of their time processing through industry reports, hundreds of page-long documents, understanding the data of it to be able to put together presentations so that when they spoke with their customers, they were the expert on everything in that industry. They knew exactly what they were talking about. They were ready for every question. The problem with that was that the benefit of that was really good, but it was taking them days and days to go through this data and understand it, leaving them only a smaller portion of their time available to actually be doing part that gives you that return, the selling, the being in front of customers and bringing that business in. So being able to look at that part of that process there of, well, can we automatically take all of that data, those stages that he's doing, to compile this information and digest it down? So rather than it being hundreds of page-long documents, can we just bring that down, boil it down to these are the key points that you need to be able to go out and deliver that same experience? And once that was put in place, once that was done, that freed up so much time, and it also made the data more up to date, more accurate, because it didn't take weeks to go through and sort anymore. It was an automated action that could just happen.
Yep. So